Blog Talk Radio.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Divas That Care Network. My name is Candace Gish, and I am the founder of the Divas That Care and the host of this program. Well, I'm so excited that each and every one of you has tuned in today. We're going to be having an amazing show. I actually have the privilege of interviewing one of our diva hosts, Irina Kay, and I'm so excited because we haven't had a chance to talk too much in the last little while, and I'm just excited with all the things that she's doing. And she always has so many amazing things to share with all of the listeners out there. For any of you that have just tuned in for the very first time, the Divas That Care has been going now for 10 years. It is our 10-year anniversary, and we have expanded. So we have 11 hosts on our program. And for 2020, we are hoping to get 20 hosts to end the 2020 season. We just are so excited with all the interviews and that we are doing, and it's just so great. So make sure that you guys check out divasthatcare.com so that you can listen to all of our podcasts, because we have them recorded for all of your listening privileges. So we want to make sure that you're able to listen to all these amazing women from around the world. Well, as I said, I have my amazing guest, and she is on the show now. So I want to welcome Irina Kay to the show. Welcome, my friend.
Pleasure to talk to your audience and you.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you back. You know, this is amazing. How have things been going for you?
Well, gratefully and thankfully, I am still healthy, and so is everyone in my family. I mean, we know these are amazingly crazy, insane times that have never been like this before, and the world will never be the same again. And so far, so good. And I hope the same is for you and your audience, that, you know, we are privileged to be able to. I sewed my mask for my children. I was able to get supplies, and I'm really happy that it's working out so far.
That's awesome. Well, Irene, I just want to ask you, if you don't mind, before we kind of get started here, would you mind spending a few minutes introducing yourself to maybe some of our new listeners today?
Of course. So hello, everybody. Like Candace mentioned, I'm one of the Divas That Care hosts. I'm actually the relationship expert because I have been working in that relationship space with coaching for a few years now, more than 5, starting with the law of attraction coaching specifically, but also bringing to my experience my job as a physician. I was working as an OBGYN, a women's doctor, for a long time before I retired. And then I went into coaching, and I also specialized in marriage facilitation. I do have a certification in that. And that reflects my own journey through a marriage that, you know, deteriorated a lot over the years, but we've been able to completely turn this around. And I wanted to share that. It is my passion to share that with everybody, especially women who seek help in their marriage or in their relationship with anybody. It doesn't matter. Right now, we know that people live like on top of each other. And sometimes that is going to be a lot of friction even between parents and children or spouses. And it is my passion to bring our turnaround to others and tell them what we have done and how this was possible. And that is one leg of my journey right now. And the other one is that I'm also helping out women entrepreneurs, business owners, with the mindset for the financial success, because hinges so much on mindset. And the two of them together, the medical field, the coaching, whether it's law of attraction coaching or trauma resolution coaching or everything, is based for me in neuroscience. And I have studied neuroscience extensively to find out how our brain works. And that, again, translates into the way we are conducting ourselves in relationships.
Wow. And that's why we're so excited when you decided to become a host on the Divas That Care. And I'm just so grateful that you are on this journey with me.
Thank you, Candace, and thank you for inviting me to be a host on the show and on your network.
It is so much fun. You know, we have so many amazing hosts, but we also have so many amazing guests. So can you tell us a little bit about your shows that you've done so far so that our listeners can kind of get to know what your program is about and who you're interviewing and who you're going to be interviewing in the future?
Well, I have been interviewing a lot of experts in the relationship space, and everybody has a little bit of a different angle and a little bit of a different perspective of how to improve a relationship. There was the queen of boundaries, for example. There was another lady who used acronyms of saying what steps to take when there is a conflict, so she was a conflict resolution specialist. And again, others are coming from other kind of mindset, whether it is, like I said, mentioned before, the law of attraction or the meditations or affirmations, whatever works for them, and they're bringing their expertise to the show of how can you improve a relationship that maybe has gone sour or it's just stale or you have to completely turn it around because you really don't want to get a divorce. There have been people who was like a divorce attorney as a mediator. What can you do before you take that step, which costs a lot of money, and maybe you don't really want to do this. You don't want to give yourself, you do want to give yourself the chance to not go there if you don't have to. So I've interviewed all these kind of people, a dating specialist as well, how to do dating. And funny enough, she's online dating. Right now that would be really important, but at one point, obviously, you want to meet somebody. Then there's other people, how to meet your love, the love of your life. And she based it on palm reading. And it was really crazy the way she did. I just held my palm up to the camera. It was online. And she told me all about myself and what my mate should be looking like. I was floored at how much she could read into this. So that's not a charlatan. It's really, as for her, it's a science. So I've interviewed all these kind of people. But what I really wouldn't mind to do as well, instead of just getting the experts in the coaching space or therapy space, have interviewed people from the audience. What can they share with other women that worked for them? Or even some very savvy men, what can they share that worked? Because that would be so helpful for everybody else. Because, if you're in a relationship and a long-term relationship, probably you're going to be in that boat at one time, that there is friction, and nobody is just all roses, right?
That is so true. And I love that you're doing that because isn't it the truth? It's not just the relationships with our spouses and our coworkers. It's our children and our in-laws. There is so many relationship dynamics. And I think that if we learn how to, maybe understand ourselves and the people around us, it makes those relationships so much better.
It is. And like you mentioned, it starts with yourself. You got to find the relationship with yourself so you can be grounded in yourself and sure about yourself. And that is a huge problem, especially for women, because we all got imprinted to be helpers for others and never take care of ourselves. Everybody's always, to be a nice girl, you have to share. It's not that something is, you have the right to want something, to desire something, and you have the right to stand up for yourself. I wasn't brought up that way. And the most people I talked to, even in my medical career, they weren't brought up that way. It was always to please somebody else. First, you have to please your parents, then you have to please a boyfriend to be able to get married and all that kind of stuff. Then you have to please your employer and your coworkers. It's always like this. And that is the imprinting in the brain. Here, that comes to neuroscience in, right?
Oh, yeah. And I find it fascinating because I feel that women, and men too, but women in general are becoming stronger. They're figuring things out, and I think maybe it's the younger generation that's really showing us that because, I did have a strong mother growing up, but I still sense that I've always been a people pleaser and trying to please everybody around me. But my daughters are so much stronger than I could have ever imagined myself being.
Well, that kudos to you, Mom, because you brought them up to be that way, and you are absolutely right. This is also the zeitgeist that's coming into here, right? It's like the equality in the workplace, which is still not there at all, but at least it got started, at least it's getting better. And I know that we women are now empowering our younger generation girls or now young adults to be stronger and to stand up for themselves because we've got enough. We've had enough with that subservient stuff, that old stucky stuff, I grew up with a strong mother, but she was still, still serving my father. He was still the authority, and he had the power. And that shifts now that women get, paying jobs that are also well-paying. There's more women getting into executive positions. Still not as many as men, of course. But it's an evolution going on, which is amazing. And we need to totally support that and strengthen the ties between the women so together we can rise.
Oh, exactly. And I love that there's amazing women like yourself out there. You're supporting those relationships, so you're helping, not just the women, but you're helping the men understand the women too, and how the connections and how they can work together. And I think that's really important, because I think in order for us to, expand as individuals, we need that support, we need that network, but we need that understanding so that everybody's kind of on the same page.
Yes, and you see the understanding, what you just mentioned, like women, they can learn how to understand men. And men can learn how to understand women, but the learning part is not the most important thing, because everybody can learn and have it in your intellectual mind, but it's still the heart that needs to be engaged. And
yes.
The way you can engage your heart, even if you know intellectually, well, I don't have to do this for him, but if you want to do this, because it's then reciprocal, it is something that is fulfilling for yourself, it makes it so much better. And the only way you can do this is if you can step out of the victim mode of the one like, oh, life happens to me. I'm in this shitty life. This is what happens. We had all these stupid things. They're saying, well, the way you lie, the way you sleep, or something like this. And meaning, if you get married to a crappy husband, it's your own fault. And all these kind of things that were taught to us and shown to us from our parents, that this is the way it works and you better adapt or else. But once you feel, if you're starting to be resentful, that gives off that negative energy, you can never bridge the gap. So once you strengthen yourself and you can come from compassion and understanding, that's when the other person can open up too, because they don't feel threatened anymore or attacked. And sometimes it's the small things, just the way people work. They're different ways of looking at things, and I have learned this a lot with my husband. It's kind of funny. Some of them are kind of funny. It's like, what is your why? Why do you do stuff the way you do it? And mine has always been, it has to make sense. If it doesn't make sense, I won't do it. I don't do it this way. For him, it was always, well, I do it my way, and that's the highway. That's it. So, and he felt always attacked when I asked him, well, why are you doing this way? Because I just wanted to make sense of it, but he felt attacked. He felt his authority was attacked because I'm questioning him about why he's doing it. And that was just a simple thing to realize, oh, that's true. That's really not what I meant. I'm not attacking you. I just want to genuinely know. And there's like somebody who found out there's like 9 different kind of whys, why people do stuff, and there's tests you can do for yourself and find out. It's kind of fun.
I love that, and it helps those relationships. Do you find that more and more people are wanting to learn this part because they want a better understanding? Like for myself, I feel like the people around me seem to want to understand that more so now than ever.
Well, I believe now so more than ever is because, again, it's that whole awakening in a way that people want to know about themselves. They want to even know, why did I do this? This doesn't feel like me. And, well, okay, who is me? And I had to learn this also because we are also, imprinted to do stuff, just be doing, that we forget about the being. Who are you? And I actually did a test once. I did a workshop about relationships, and I had the attendees sitting there and said, okay, please introduce yourself. Who are you? I asked that question, who are you? And guess what happened? Every single person kind of defined themselves by the work they do.
Really?
Oh, I am so-and-so, and I work in a bank, or I'm doing this and doing that. And then I circled back and said, well, I was asking, who are you, not what you're doing. And I never thought about this that way. And that's what it is. We always define ourselves by our being productivity, our busyness, how much money we make, as if that was the way to gauge a human being. It's not. In the end, it's not.
Can I ask you, was this big shift happening when, I remember years ago when the Law of Attraction movie came out, and I watched this movie and I was like, whoa, this is amazing. Do you think that a lot of the experiences that some people have and that it's kind of going forward is a result of that?
I'm not sure if it's the result of exactly that movie, believe it or not. Even when I was becoming certified as a Law of Attraction coach, I had never seen that movie, because the basis of that movie goes back way before that. It goes back to Napoleon Hill of 1937. And between 1937 and when this movie came out, like 30 years later or 40 years later, I don't know exactly, nothing really happened. I mean, we had a world war, but nothing in that respect really happened. So I think it is just a few things, all of them working synergistically. Maybe people saw this movie. Maybe people started, there's also the psychiatrists like Freud and Jung and all these people coming in talking about the psyche more, and it was getting more okay to talk about feelings. It was getting okay to say, I feel crappy, I need help. To the point where in certain areas, in certain demographics, it's like even, chic to have a shrink.
Yeah. Well,
when we were young and our parents were parents of young children, nobody would ever talk about this, that you have to see a therapist, right?
No, it was taboo. You don't do that, and
right?
Nobody did that. Yep.
That stuff has shifted. The same thing about relationship issues. Back then, she's divorced. I was like, wow, bad woman. Now that's
it's amazing
different.
how things are changing. I love
it.
Mm-hmm. And with everything that is happening nowadays, I think it's really important that we have open communications, because a lot of us are now stuck at home. How are you working with people right now that are probably going through a lot of emotions, not knowing how to deal with all this?
Mm-hmm. The fun thing is that I've always worked online or over Zoom and stuff when talking to clients, because I've always felt, some of them would say face-to-face, okay, is better or whatever. I've always felt it doesn't really make a difference, because even people feel even more comfortable if they're in their own home, and they're willing to open up very easily, and especially women. Women are really more willing to be vulnerable with somebody who is a neutral person but in their corner. And so when I'm talking to people about that roller coaster of emotions, I'm seeing a lot of time people are very nervous, they're anxious, they're stressed out. We just work on these things, the little steps they can take every day to calm yourself down. Whether it is, and nature is always the best one. If you can go outside, and breathe the fresh air and take in the greens, the scenery and all that, while being safe, obviously, that's always the best thing that can always ground you. Before we would say to Mother Earth, the energy of the earth, the energy from above, that can always ground you and calm your nerves down. And then there's other stressors that stress busting techniques that you could use. A lot of them have to do with stretching or working out, using your body for that, not just constricting everywhere. And then the other things are, when people are emotional, to find out why. Go beyond that. Go beneath that. What is the underlying? What is the driver to this? And then go farther down, and then you arrive at a core. And that's what I do when I do my coaching with the clearing beliefs that are there. Everything is a belief, right? Everything you see, everything you do is based on a certain belief. Then go ask, what is the reason for that belief? What would somebody have to think to believe that?
I love that.
And that is transformational.
It's transformational, it is. It changes things. How do our listeners get a hold of you if they want to connect with you, to perhaps book some sessions with you? Because there's a lot going on, and a lot of people are looking for people. So how can they get a hold of you?
Well, I think the easiest way is if you go to my website, marriedlovesuccess.com, you'll get a little free gift, a PDF about what things you could do to get the communication going again, and that's what you just mentioned. Communication is a huge one, like for every couple. Most of the times it's like, yes, communication broke down. That was the same for us, and that is the first thing that happens. Open communication breaks down. So there you can get that free gift, and then it continues on, and you can actually book a session with me. And I always do that for everybody, give everybody an introductory or, kind of breakthrough session to see if we would even be a good fit to work together, and that's complimentary. Yeah. They don't have to pay for that. It's a 30-minute free session.
Oh, that's perfect. And we're going to be posting all of that on our social media so that you guys all have that, because I think it's really important to check out Dr. Irina Kay's amazing website. And it is beautiful, guys. It is absolutely beautiful. I just wanted to let everybody know, too, is we are going to be doing a virtual summit here in the next week. So we wanted to make sure that all of our listeners are aware of the virtual summit and all the amazing speakers that are going to be on that, talking about things like relationships and things getting through, 2020 and helping us in a positive way. So we're hoping that that's going to be happening in the next week here, and that all of you tune into that. So, Irina, is there any last-minute things that you would love to share with all of our listeners today? Any tips, tools, or anything that you're going to be doing in the future?
Certainly. To all of you, do not lose hope. Help is out there. There is somebody for you that can support you, so do not hesitate to reach out. Don't feel ashamed. You are not lesser for it. You're not weaker for it. You're not worthless. You are worth and deserving to get help and to get better, to heal, whatever you need to do to feel better, because don't forget, what you make better for yourself, self-care, it will ripple out to everyone around you. You will be more positive for the people around you. It can be your family. It can be your friends. It can be your workplace. It can be your whole community. And in the end, it's going to benefit a whole of humanity. So don't hesitate to reach out if you need help and make yourself feel better. You'll help everyone. It's not selfish.
Thank you so much, my friend.
I thank you for having me. Thank you so much for making this possible for everybody. And really, truly, the experts and the hosts on Divas That Care come from all different kinds of walks of life. They're amazing people. And what you're doing, Candace, tireless work, I know. Thank you so much.
Well, you know what? It's all fun. I love it when we have amazing guests on our program, but we have amazing hosts, and I love it. So make sure, all of our listeners, you go and check out Dr. Irina's amazing page. We have it on our Divas That Care. You can check out her picture there, and you will go right to her page and see all of her programs. So make sure that all of you go check her out. It just had a blast, Irina, and I can't wait for all the things we're going to be doing.
You again. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. We're going to be doing more of these programs and doing more virtual summits in the coming months. And all of our anthologies, too, to all of our listeners. Make sure that you check out those anthologies that the Divas That Care has done. All of the proceeds for those anthologies goes to different charities around the world. So we want to make sure that we can get as many books out there as we can so that we can support as many causes as we can. So thank you again to my amazing guests. Thank you to all of our amazing listeners. It's because of you that we've continued to do this program for so long. We thank you all so much. I hope that all of you have a chance to go check out divasthatcare.com and that you maybe do something kind for somebody out there. I hope that all of you have a great day, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye. Thank you.